eGolf drives like a Golf, and that's the biggest pro and the largest con out there on the car. The car has passed 3,000 kilometers of driving experience, and I've had it for just a little over a month. And as you can see, experiences now are getting tougher. It's planning, it's a different experience. And it didn't disappoint me at all, not at once. It was just different. I had to plan my days, but so far I've never been stuck, and I've made some 400 plus kilometers tours a day. Recharging took time, but in the end you need to stop for a cup of coffee every once in a while, or a sandwich. And this movie is to update you on some daily experiences. I think the question of how the Golf drives is not the most important one. I mean, I think there's hardly anyone out there with a valid driver's license who've never driven a Volkswagen Golf before. So it's one of the most accepted family cars out there in the marketplace, and to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I chose it. I mean, when I can do it with this car, anyone can. That's my main attitude. But how far does it drive? I think that question is what keeps a lot of the viewers of this vlog interested. So far, again, my month of experience has been mostly November and a little bit of December. You see a lot of snow, you see wintry circumstances. But so far I can conclude that with a little bit of effort, so doing 100 kilometers an hour max on the speedway, for instance, with a little effort there's almost 200 kilometers or more of juice in the battery. Always. I've never seen a day less. So I think that's an important conclusion, because how often do you drive a one-way trip that's more than 200 kilometers? And how about your return trip? When you have a one-way trip of close to 200, I've done that quite some times now, you need to charge. You need to recharge your battery. Last week I had a trip of a little over 400 kilometers over the whole day, divided in 3 stops. And after the first stop, the battery was, I had 30 or 40 kilometers left, and the next meeting was at 120 kilometers. So I had to recharge, and in my first meeting there was no charging point available, so I had to stop over at a fast charging facility along the freeway. About 15 minutes, and I was able to reach my next destination. There I had a public loading facility just around the corner, and I was able to recharge and reach my final stop and then home. So no sweat there. One important lesson: preheat your car when it's plugged in. With daily temperatures like this, snow's there, and I've seen degrees between -2 and +10 last month. But preheating, yes or no, saves me about 40% of my mileage. So that's a very important tip to keep in mind. When you drive in city traffic, the car almost seems to be driving on no energy at all. But there's one very important feature that should not be overlooked, and that's the auto hold function. When you are on a lot of stop and go traffics, traffic lights, heavy driven roads where you have to stop often for right-handed traffic or whatever. The car keeps on pushing when you are stopping just on the brakes. So to be sure that the engine gets a signal of no power, you have to use the auto hold function. So the moment you stop in traffic, it automatically pops up the green light, green P, and the moment you put on the throttle, the P disappears and your car starts to move. When you don't do it, it will cost you energy, and that's with an electric driven car in wintertime not the best deal. What I did find surprising was the huge effect of wind and rain on the car. It was raining, it was very windy, right on the nose of the car, and I almost personally saw the available range dropping on the dash. And well, there's a very important aspect of driving an electric car. It makes you very aware of the huge energy that's taken by driving a car. Because when you ride your average diesel or gasoline car, you're not very aware of the fact that there's wind on the nose or on the back. But with an electric car, you are. Whatever you do, do not use the brake regenerative setting on the gearbox. It drives great, especially in city traffic, because clearing the throttle means automatic braking of the car, so it gives you the one pedal feeling, and that really makes you one with the car and gives, well, really some sort of a sportive feel. But it will make you lazy when this setting is on, so the light of the B is illuminated. In that case, your car brakes by itself the moment you lose your throttle, and basically that means you've wasted energy, because you've given it too much energy to get to the point where you start your brake. You lose your throttle earlier, you use natural forces to get the car in a free flow. And well, free flow is free energy, is no energy. And no use of energy means more kilometers to drive on your battery. So keep in mind, keep this light on.